It is. It's like a
it's just bad,
stealth.
you know. Yeah, when you bash your foot on something and it's
Mm.
just it renders you basically, you know, the pack moves on and you're just left alone and you eat what you find in the bushes and then you perish and that's
have
about it.
has anyone seen that movie, the Stephen King adaptation? I haven't actually seen it. The walking one, where you just have to keep walking until
Oh, the
you're
new
the last.
one? No.
Yeah, to the last person standing. And that's the life that Dave is leading. He's being slowly left behind. All the watch journalists are slowly
I'm
disappearing
out.
Walking
into the
till you're
distance.
the last one standing. I believe that's A4 of Watches and Wonders. You just keep walking until you're the last one going.
I wonder how many laps it's possible to do of the Watches and Wonders. Little bit round by
What are you talking about?
JLC,
We
I'll-
exist in the time of the mobility device.
the
There's
mobility
more
device.
ways for David to get around than ever before.
Oh, do you think
Yeah.
we get
If you show up to
wheelchair
the
access?
show
He could ride a horse
with
robot.
a scooter. Oh,
I like
okay.
walking. I
Scooter.
genuinely do.
Anyway,
Horse
You could
robot is
you could be
better.
in a traditional wheelchair being pulled by a drone.
yeah.
Okay, now we're going
What
somewhere.
about
That's
a
very
chariot of
Persian.
drones, multiple drones, like as one would have horses, but pulling a chariot?
I mean,
Making
your
this insane
imagination's the
racket.
limit. It's all
the
possible.
year of the
We're not
horse,
even
it's the-
joking.
It's the year of the horse. It would be in keeping. You can
I'm trying
be
to imagine my foot working. You know,
could
that's
throw
what I'm using my
kerosene on it,
imagination
light it on
for.
fire.
Yeah,
What are
exactly.
the import tariffs on horses? Rick, could you bring one for David?
Could I bring
Yeah.
one for David? I mean, we could. You know those little
You've
red.
got them.
Check
They're in
that under the
Europe.
plane.
You know those little
Yeah,
red
can
Swedish
you
ones
coat
you
check?
get. You know
No.
this. You get the little red Swedish horses. We should. Are there any Swedish brands? Is GA represented at Watches and Wonders
At the
What's-
show?
at the show? What's the Swedish brand?
I mean, there are Swedish brands.
Yes. What's it called?
GOS.
GOS.
Gustafsson and Sjorgen?
Yes, they're cool, by the way. They're very cool.
Yeah. Actually, they're just GOS now. It's like America
Yeah.
Online, just AOL.
just
The other part.
soon.
No, really. They're like the other. Yeah, don't.
That's it. Soon
Don't
there'll
say
just
that,
be copies of those watches on the front of every magazine that you buy. It'll just be GOS dials, and then you'll use them as coasters, and then the technology will move on, and then they'll be bought by who bought AOL? Time Warner, and then they got sold.
Oh gosh.
AT&T.
How did
It's
we
a
end
whole
up
thing.
here from my foot? I don't know. It's just
Anyway,
bleeps.
there we go.
I-
Right.
Operating on 3 hours of sleep, it's really difficult to keep track of
Broken
these things.
things, AOL, David's foot.
So the question is, what other any watch related injuries, Ariel or Ripley, you've suffered? David, were you carrying a watch when you injured your foot?
Of course
What
not. I
is
was at
a
home and I never
watch-related
wear a
injury?
watch.
Like a watch
okay.
drops in your eye or something like that?
An
I did
unboxing
have
injury.
this on one of my
I-
pinkies
plenty,
or my
plenty.
toes. I guess that's true. Maybe that was the problem.
It was a weight problem.
I've dropped in. I dropped an Invicta in my foot that hurt immensely.
Okay.
I've stabbed my fingers endless
must have stabbed
times
yourself.
replacing links and spring
Yeah, yeah,
bars. Yeah, all the time.
Yeah. You must have had a stabbing injury
When
or
I
two.
used to work on the when I used to work on the service side, we had this red powder that you would rub in cuts to make it stop bleeding because finger injuries
Wow.
were so common.
You had red powder. Okay, moving
Was
on.
it chili
Yeah,
powder?
it burnt. No,
Stop-
no.
It stopped bleeding.
It did not. It would stop the bleeding and it burnt, but all the watches would be coated in
thermite for your.
stuff. Yeah, so we'd have to like pry the bars out. Sometimes we'd have to break the spring bars because it's been there for like 40 years and it's just calcified into itself. And there were lots
that's
of
cool.
finger injuries to the extent where one of the things on hand in the med kit was the most used thing was this one. It's like a red powder, little crystals in it. You rub it in the cut, it burns real bad, but it stops bleeding.
There we go. I think rather than silica gel that folks send out with watches, the desiccating and desiccation, whatever it's called.
Yeah, if
you
you've
send out
got a
some of that.
terrible strap change, like if you've a
Yeah.
simple strap changing system or some pin and collar setup, send us
Yeah.
some of that. We will need
Send
it.
us some of
yeah.
that with it. Yeah, it seems like a.
Were you a
customer-
watchmaker in a
customer
war
services.
zone? Yeah, it's just.
Anyway, right, let's have a look at what we're going to talk about this week. So we have some decisions to make for this week's Hit Miss Maybe. So we can see the variety of watches that have come out and the Trask.
It's always fun to
chronograph is
see
just
who Riverside chooses to zoom in on the face-off. When you're going, you're sharing the screen. This week it's you, Ariel.
All right, okay.
It's your face that's like for a brief moment is full screen. Sometimes it's me.
I think it's the last person on the call, I think, but there we go.
Oh, really?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so. That's why it's normally
Oh.
always you, David, or Ariel. Me and Ripley never get close-ups for us. Right, we have the Triassic chronograph. This is for selecting hit miss, maybe. The Bullman decompression. I'm tempted to say that the hands-on, the watch bracelet should also go to hit miss, maybe. Where do you want to? What the Norcane, the Man Elone?
So many options.
So what do you want to reserve for hit miss? Maybe what do you want to talk about?
All of these are a
just
miss.
now?
Let's move on to page 2.
They're all a miss. Oh well, that's easy enough. We have.
I like the Hamilton. I like the Hamilton from Mike. That's true.
Okay, so the Hamilton can go to hit miss, maybe. The Peacock Tourbillon handmade dial. Is that a hit miss, maybe contender? We have the Panerai. I feel the Panerai has to go to hit miss, maybe. And then we have two. We'll save these two, the Meistersinger and the Louis Vuitton, for a wider conversation about what is it with jump hours. Anything else we've not talked about for hit miss? Maybe we need to go back up the page. If we do Panerai and the Hamilton, what should we do? I think maybe this. What do we know about the Bullman decompression? No, the Norcane. The Norcane gets the hit miss maybe treatment as well.
Why?
Okay.
We've had Norcane like a gazillion million times. Let's
Okay. Well, then select something else. You have free will.
I'm not keeping track of these, and even I remember. So that's like a threshold so unbelievably high for me to remember how many times we had Norcane. And
It's true,
just
Rick.
reached
You
that.
do love them.
Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
I consistently give them a miss, to be fair, but
Bring them up a lot, though.
I do bring them up a lot.
There's definitely a
Well,
love part of the relationship.
There's like a Norcane Oris Panerai bias on this show, not necessarily in a good way for those brands. So what do you want for your final hit miss maybe then this week? Shall we? We've got the Khaki Field, the Panerai. Let's go for the Peacock as the final hit miss maybe. So that's our hit miss maybes chosen for this week. Let's start though with a continuation of a story from last week, which has been making all the news, and this time Swatch Group is having a wee greet. Swatch Group have been bullied by the poor people at Morgan Stanley and wish to make it clear that everything that was said about them and their declining watch sales is obviously not true, although we're not actually going to tell you what our actual sales are. We're just going to hint that it's not quite right and leave it there. Ariel, you particularly wanted to discuss this.
It's interesting.
PR journalism.
Okay, so in full disclosure, I'm writing an article about this because I'm thinking about it. And what I really find fascinating is the sort of form of this response. Nobody can see this really here. They see it's a website, but this isn't like a special dedicated web page for this article. This is just their basic like investor relation page. And I'm sorry, any company that actually wants to communicate something to the world isn't going to put it like as a temporary block of text on their investor relation page. So one of the things is, why did Swatch Group publish this in like the most technocratic of ways possible? It was like the North Korean government decided how to like publish something, right? Like the words they use, I mean, the contempt they have for the English language is impressive sometimes. I get the same accountants that put together their annual reports who don't want you to understand it, wrote this. They make some good points. I think what's important to say, I'm fundamentally on the Swatch Group side here. I actually think that these Morgan Stanley Lux Consult reports are misleading at best, highly irresponsible at worst. The number of, and I'll use the word shortcuts that are taken in these compilations are outstanding. And then it's all dressed up to look all nice, like it's a, like a minute repeater that all works inside. No, you don't want to look under the hood. They just a bunch of graphs and stuff like that. This report, again, I don't know what you guys said about it last week, but this report, I guess, cast Omega in a bad light. And Swatch Group's contention is that this this casting of this bad light hurts our reputation or Omega's reputation. They didn't even explicitly say Omega. This is like, again, between the lines speak. It's, again, from a communication perspective, truly contemptuous of proper communication. But one wonders exactly what is the fallout for Swatch Group. Now, Swatch Group, specifically Omega, has had a history of suing other companies. One of the really famous cases was Omega and Costco, and Omega sued Costco and won not all of it, but they won part of it on a trademark, almost like a technicality, if in other words, and sort of stopped the sale of the Omega watches in Costco locations. But that was a big case, and that took a lot of time and money. Does Omega and Swatch Group want to go after Morgan Stanley and this and that? I think the difficult thing for them would be to prove damages. And if they had to prove damages, the numbers would have to be out there, which is the exact last thing they want. So that's one thing. Again, as a lawyer, the first thing you ask about, like, could you get any damages? Maybe they don't want damages. Maybe they just want to stop these reports from happening in the future. That's definitely a possibility, though. Again, they might have to disclose more than they want to. But again, that's American law. Swiss law, I don't know. Morgan Stanley, I don't know. I'm sure has jurisdiction in some way in Switzerland. I'm not necessarily sure. This is sort of a complicated legal matter. The bottom line is, my suspicion is that by publishing this letter, which they say is an open letter, but which is hidden on their investor relation page, might be one of those like legal technicalities. Like, well, we gave them an opportunity to mitigate, to sort of see what would happen. Might be sort of a formal step. But I think it's also interesting because this is a little bit more than your standard Swatch Group, like, confusing legalese. There's actually a lot of like hurt feelings in this.
They're
you
mad.
Can see Hayek himself
They
like
are
being
mad,
like,
aren't they?
point number 2.
I'll dictate.
Yeah.
He just puts his feet up on like a desk.
That's exactly right. I can tell he has shouted
Cigar in hand.
secretarial team from Nexus, get in here. I'm doing a dictation.
Let me tell you
Yeah.
what I really think.
Point
This is
one.
misleading.
Who's this Morgan and who's this Stanley anyway?
But so
Bring me their head.
I'm curious to see what will happen. Again, I'm actually roughly in the Swatch Group side. I don't like the way they communicated it. I think that I don't know a lot about the Morgan Stanley company, to be honest, but it sounds, from what I understand about them, they would not want to be associated with data, which is this just floozy data. It's like, I don't know what to call it. Like, I don't know where it comes from. It seems kind of dirty. The data is misunderstood and limited. Let's put it that way. So
it's
loose
clearly
data,
limited because apparently Chris Ward is the only one who provided an accurate figure for the volume.
Yeah, I don't even want to get into
rounded
it.
Yeah.
The report is garbage. Swatch Group's right to be upset. Morgan Stanley should be embarrassed being associated with it. And we'll see what happens next.
The only
but
organization that comes out with any credit in this whole thing is Christopher Ward, who, when phoned to ask how many units did you sell this year,
Bazillion!
replied 39,141. They clearly told them exactly how many units they sold.
Well, they gave him a number.
Proud of
everyone else was say Mike France is putting every one of those into that little wooden box. Yes, I have to say that Swatchonomics, Chris the Time Destroyer on gave us a wee reference on his Substack this week that we had been the only legitimate commentators on this particular report. With
really?
Validity. Yeah, although he did say that we had that he did quote me as having effectively stumbled across a truth. So thanks for in-depth analysis about my Christopher Ward observation. I stumbled across it type thing. Anyway,
that's how you find the best truths, right? You're
it
not
is
actually
true.
looking
It is
for
true.
them.
You don't actually wander into them. But yeah, I mean, this whole thing can be solved in one simple way. Actually tell us how many watches you sold. It's simple. It's the fact that they complain and then don't really do anything about it. They don't go, you're wrong. They go, you're wrong, and we're going to hint at which particular section you might be wrong
You
at.
think
plus
that's a
or
likely
minus
solution?
5 or 10. No, of course it's not a likely solution because it's all smoke and mirrors. Because the reality is they're complaining, probably, allegedly. Let's think about the logic of this. Omega get placed 5th in this thing, and they get the number of units sold as 460,000. Now, clearly, Omega know exactly. Well, maybe they don't. Maybe that's the first problem. Do we think that Omega actually know how many units they sold in a year? I think somebody is actually there with the real number. Let's assume that there is a real number there somewhere. They're looking at going, well, what is... They can't say what the real number is. Like, if the real number was vastly, sizably more, they'd probably come out and say it.
They had
I
all
think
those
the goal here-
percentages. Did you read the letter?
Yeah,
Like,
but the
it's sort of
percentage...
hidden in the percentage.
Yeah, it's
too.
hidden. You
It's
have
just,
to...
it's just a bunch of percentages. Like, it could be more, it could be less, but the reason why they
So,
don't say anything most of the
in
time is
fact-
because what they expect for this thing to go is for them always to appear, to be doing well. It's awfully
fact,
convenient to complain when things are not going your way and not give up whatever, when things are going down. So by holding these numbers back, they try and maintain this sensation that things are always going up, which is impossible. Even if we remove Morgan Stanley and the report and everything else, reasonably, if we look at this thing, a company has its ups and downs. If it makes them feel any better, Casio dropped 9% over the last day, or like last week or whatever. So it happens. It totally does. It's just they try to create this smoke and mirrors game of where everything is always rosy and shiny and perfect and up, which is not the case.
David, you're totally right, but I think the bad guy here is really Morgan Stanley and Lux Consult for attempting to say we have accurate data on what's going on. This is all presented as though it's legitimate academics or science. This is rough calculations at best, decorated to look highly professional. They want to be seen as the arbiter of information on this, the owner of the information. Come to us to see how the watch industry is doing. Come to us to see what's going on. That's what they want, and they're taking shortcuts to get there. So they're acting the most unethical. The Swatch Group, I guess you can make a bunch of different arguments about their obligations to share results. They are publicly traded. That doesn't really compel them to say very much. They seem to be able to get away with it. I'm not invested in the company. I don't really care whether or not they say these things. They don't want to, but I'm not going to make them up. And I'm not going to, I think that Morgan Stanley, again, wants to be this place where people go to information statistics. They can't have that. They're not allowed to say that because they simply aren't able to do that. And so I think that they are the most misleading of misleading parties here.
That's true, but they're like certain trajectories for things. We are either going up or we are either going down in terms of transparency. Had they not done this and not pushed Swatch Group this direction, then it would get just even more ridiculously, unbelievably hide and seek, smoke and mirrors, this kind of thing. And up to a point, I don't even know how this can be legal for a conglomerate of this size that's responsible for this many tens of thousands of people and not any investor money and all the rest of it to hide the fact how well or unwell its biggest brands are doing. It's unbelievable to me that we have to just
it's a commentary on the investor side of this all, that you're not really investing. You don't have power. Your voting doesn't matter. They're not going to tell you anything. Yes, they'll take your money and they'll sell you shares, and that's fine. But let's not pretend that this isn't public company in that way that, at least in the United States, we think of public companies are publicly traded. It's just not.
That's
the chat is Borisic. For some reason, I can't reproduce the chat live on the screen this morning, but Borisic is making the point. Omega wouldn't be complaining if they were top. They would even say, "Oh, you got the numbers wrong. You place us above Rolex."
Probably true. Probably
so
true.
They obviously think that 5th place is not, but is it? I mean, I'm not quite as hard on Morgan Stanley as you are. I think so many watch CEOs try to market that they're so much bigger, better, profitable, successful than they actually are, that frankly it's their own fault if some organization comes along and goes, you know what, we're just going to rank you according to what crap comes out of your mouth. And you keep on telling us that you're X, Y, and Z. Therefore, we're just going to rate based on what we just give a CEO rating. which CEO talks the most nonsense.
But that's
about
not
their
what
own watch
Morgan
brand?
Stanley and Lex Consult were doing. They weren't basing it on numbers they were releasing. They were basing it on
Yeah, no, they
numbers
say-
that were coming out of places that were basically being made up.
They say that there's 5 things they base it on. They base it on what they can divine from annual reports, but they also
Which
include
is nothing.
what the CEOs have been saying to us, what the brand representatives have been saying. So I don't know. I'm not as hard on as you. Yes, it's nonsense.
It's basically
except for Christopher
entertainment.
Ward. Yeah,
It's
except for
basically
Christopher
entertainment.
Ward. There should just be are you doing better or worse than Christopher Ward?
I liked it when it
simply the-
was back the way it was a little while ago when,
Uh-huh.
as David said, they lied and we summarily ignored it.
Okay, so we're going back to ignoring it. That's good. Good.
I'm okay not
Right.
knowing. I know they don't want to tell me. I know I don't know. I'm not going to guess. I'm not going to pretend that they're doing well if I don't know.
That's entirely legitimate. I like that. That's entirely legitimate. Right, let's talk about a watch. In fact, let's not talk about a watch. Let's talk about a watch strap. Is this Ripley the worst idea or the best idea in the world? The
Is this
Smart Clip
2013?
One watch bracelet, the answer to double wristing. Describe what this.
It technically works.
This is
Well-
well, David drowns his sorrows in the world's largest cup of tea. Cheers, skull.
Whether
us.
it's a fantastic idea or an abomination really is a matter of perspective, but
Mhm.
it does what it set out to do, and it has been a lot of fun to try out. So
Okay.
it's the world's most over-engineered bracelet. The gist of it is it allows you to attach a watch and like a traditional timepiece and a fitness tracker together with one serving as effectively the clasp. But it's an open ecosystem, really. You could put 2 watches together, 2 fitness trackers together, whatever. It's based around these 4 little clasps, which mount to links, and on the opposite ends of those clasps, you connect end pieces. Those end pieces can either be regular lug widths or proprietary adapters for like an Apple Watch or a Fitbit.
I'm already getting IKEA heebie-jeebie assembly vibes here. I'm
No,
too
no,
old for this.
assembly. It's more modular than assembly, but it's a very interesting product. I mean,
Mhm.
they were given an impossible task. It's so hard for a watch brand to make one good bracelet that looks good on a watch, to come up with a bracelet that's going to fit every watch and every fitness tracker and look good on them. They were given an impossible task from an aesthetic perspective, but from a functional one, I thought it would be a lot more uncomfortable. It is. It's not. The biggest drawback is that if you change out the watches and they've got dramatically different lug to lug widths, you'll have to add or remove things to get a nice fit. You don't have like a micro adjustment, but it's a very interesting product. And honestly, if the type of person that doesn't want to double wrist, this is an interesting alternative. And wearing this around my neighborhood, you get a lot of comments. Like not even
Such
in a bad
as-
way. They're
Like
just
what?
like, what is whoa, what is that? There's like an Apple Watch. Oh yes, check this out. And so people are used to seeing watches and fitness trackers, but smashed together in like a human centipede sort of fashion is not what anyone is used to seeing. So you have watch enthusiasts looking at it going, what is that? And then you got normal people being like, why is your clasp an Apple Watch? And why is that one? You're like, oh, let me tell you. So in terms of a statement piece, this actually gets far more eyeballs and comments than, wandering hours and all sorts of interesting stuff. Just because I mean, it's something. It looks different. It's 2 watches strapped together, and someone's going to ask about that, if for no other reason to just say, what's going on over there with that?
The
It's cool.
human centipede of watch straps. That's really how they should have been marketing this, to be perfectly frank. Does the app, just because I've never worn an Apple Watch on the inside, does it actually work? Like,
Yeah.
does it? No, but does it? Because normally, like the infrared stuff or whatever it is in the back of the watch has to be tight against the skin in order to do fitness stuff. Does it Does it work as a fitness thing when it's on the other side of your wrist next to your wrist bone?
So I didn't run with it in this configuration. That seemed a bit much. I didn't need that. But I did use it to track a couple hikes and walks,
Okay.
and during like a several hour hike, the data from the sensor as far as like heart rate and what have you was uninterrupted. So I'm
Okay.
not wearing it like skin tight on my wrist, but I
Yeah.
guess it makes enough contact that
Mhm.
um it didn't have any lapses in readings or pausing when it
Mhm.
stays too far off your wrist during a workout or whatever. So it really does exactly what it's supposed to do. And one thing to remember is this is a new company. This is their first product. This is an ecosystem rather than a standalone product. So they're going to be expanding it to include rubber side pieces instead of metal links that you could swap in their leather stuff in the future. This is really just the first foundation of what's going to ultimately be a much larger growing thing as we go forward.
Right, so they're going to make varieties of this. I thought I'd seen this before. I thought this was something that had existed for a wee while. I have to say.
They are less elegant
Mhm.
though. There's one where it's basically like two leather
Right,
straps
okay.
that are kind of double ended and go together, but you got two buckles and um you're stuck with standard lug
Mhm.
width. So this looks a bit cumbersome because I'm using it with an Apple
Mhm.
Watch. But if you had a smaller fitness tracker, like one of those Whoop bands, which doesn't have a screen
Okay.
even, or like a Fitbit Charge or something like that, it would be a much more organic package than having like a full size Apple Watch as the clasp. But even still,
Okay.
wasn't uncomfortable at all. You know, I actually wear it a decent
700
amount.
quid, 400 quid for different varieties. It's okay. Yeah,
Well, for
titanium
the
one.
titanium one. So if they do a titanium one,
Mhm.
it's quite expensive. At that point, it's like Apple Watch Ultra, but I think they're what, like $400 or $500 for the standard brush one, a bit more for the black one, which is expensive. Like that's more than an entry level
Mhm,
Apple
mhm.
Watch. So there is that, but at the same time, within the context of bracelets, this is quite a complex offering.
Mm.
It's effectively 4 clasps. So
Right, okay.
it makes sense how they get there.
Ariel, would you let this darken your door of your wrists? Would this ever be a temptation?
Well, I have really mixed feelings on this. I'll use sort of an example. I find it difficult to carry 2 phones, right? I have 2 phones. I find it difficult. It's like pockets are
Who's
kind of small.
typing? Somebody's typing. Stop it. David, is
Stop
that you?
typing,
Stop
typer.
typing, whoever's typing.
You got some mute buttons you can use. Anyways, so again, 2 phones, difficulty in trying to find out how to carry it. And I stumbled upon a potential solution. I haven't invested in it yet because I'm concerned about, well, this lack for better term, the optics. There is an ability to wear 2 phones on your body, like holster style, you know, like a undercover detective would have a gun.
Yeah. You can
But you can have one
pretend.
kind of like
Yeah.
under each arm.
Uh-huh.
And it really looks like it solves my problem. But then I think to myself, yeah, but like wearing it out, in addition to potentially being somewhat uncomfortable, though I think I'd be okay with it, there's just that unknown of what people are thinking. And we're not really okay with that level of unknown. Some people can't handle it. You know, like some people could just wear like a clown costume in public all the time and just not care what circumstances they may find themselves in. Though I think that when you wear this type of watch, there are conversations you might find yourself in you can't get out of and you don't know what to say. And that's what concerns me.
Okay, well,
So
Rod, the
I would be
airline
much more
pilot.
comfortable wearing the SmartLit than like a harness to like dual wield phones like a detective. Like this isn't that. This isn't like that. If I saw a guy in there with like an Android and an iPhone to quick draw, like
It's just, it's when someone puts sheer performance above all social communication value. You know, it's like, I'm not here to communicate to you to fit in. I'm here to perform perfectly. I need both of these items, and this is the only way I can do it. I don't care what you think.
Do we think we're on the SmartLit website? Do we think these are real reviews? SmartLit gave me the opportunity
Yes.
to enjoy my beloved timepieces while monitoring my heart condition with my Apple Watch. The product exceeds my expectations. Steve. Steve hasn't
I
dropped
think
dead
the only
yet.
way
The
to find out is
expectations
for us
can't
to
be high
find
to begin
Steve.
with.
Yeah,
We just gotta find Steve. Catch the
there's,
guy in Orange, California.
there's Rod from Chicago.
What if you see your face there? It's like Rick says. Like, what?
So if you know Mizuki from Tokyo, Japan, who wants to first I want to applaud the team for making what appears to be a simple idea and realizing at such a high level. Smartlet was worth the wait, and perhaps precisely because we waited, the product reached such an impressive level of refinement. So Mizuki from Tokyo,
Nobody
Japan,
talks
with
like that.
perfect English.
Smartlet, originally funded
Clearly-
in 2013.
clearly educated at Eton, and didn't have to use Duolingo to translate this from
I
Japanese
honestly
into
expected
English.
greater restriction or discomfort given its function. Nobody talks like that.
Listen,
But
I
I
think
believe
this
that
is
it's a well-made.
summary
Could be
of
true.
some feedback.
listen, you're close to. Well, the fact that it's called it the Czech Republic and not Czechia is the first thing, because that's not what the country's called anymore. Especially if you live there, one suspects. That's not what. Yeah,
It's not called the Czech Republic anymore.
No, it's called Czechia. They changed the name.
They went with Czechia.
Czechia.
When
Isn't
did
that
they
right,
change
David?
it?
I'm sure it's all.
Wait,
the
no,
news and rage in
when did
Hungary.
they change this?
Yeah.
About 18
When did
months
they
ago.
change this?
Yeah, about
I
18 months
wasn't.
ago.
I was there about that long ago, huh?
Yeah,
I guess
yeah.
in before the name
left.
change.
Rick is very
Yeah.
up to date.
You
on-
left
on-
to
on
change the name.
Eastern
Says,
European.
that's it. Ripley's away. We're changing the name now, so he doesn't accidentally come back. Next time he tries to book a flight to the Czech Republic, computer says no because it doesn't exist anymore. Yeah, I think
Many years ago, I wrote an article on a blog to watch about the hilarious watch reviews on Amazon.com, and I remember I laughed myself to tears on that. Ariel
Those
is
are
nodding.
great.
So
Those are great.
if anyone wants to have a laugh, just Google Amazon watch review, a blog2watch.com. You will find the articles. It's absolutely hysterical. It's basically a bunch of, spoiler alert, fake reviews on very expensive watches, and it's absolutely hysterical.
I think we might need to close out today's show with some of them if I can find them. Right, so overall, I'm not even going to ask David whether he's ever going to wear one of these because he barely wears a watch, let alone one with.
I like the
2 feet.
execution. It looks very, very ergonomically friendly. The way that it follows the shape of the wrist. It looks like they clearly have put a lot of effort into this. So I even understand the pricing. It's
the pride.
it's not.
Okay, we take it all back. We take it all back. We're first to feature on their website. It's a great product. You should all go out and buy one immediately.
This is the testimonial I want for me. I want it to work so bad.
We're
Look at
there
us.
we go.
We're above Forbes.
We're above
That's all
Forbes,
that needs to
Paris
be.
Select.
Yeah.
Whatever Paris. iPhone soft.
Stuff. The
That's-
Watch Observer.
That's the
There we
CNET
go.
logo.
Yeah, there we go. That looks like a very old logo, but there we go. Right, that's quite enough of that. Let's find ourselves an actual watch to
So-
review. Yes, go on. Ripley.
On the last thing on the Smartlet, even if you're not a smartwatch guy, what is the more audacious flex than walking in with like 2 Jorns on either side of this bracelet? It'll fit anything. So
4.
you could literally walk in like
Quadruple.
the Souverain
of
and
this,
the Black
2
Label
of this.
edition. Like 2 Panerais, you could do 1 Experience edition, 1 normal. Like it can go both ways. And so when I was talking to the Smartlet guys,
I'm
they were
warming
saying,
up to it.
well, what they were saying, yeah, right. All of a sudden, you're like, wait, 2 watches? I can wear 4? Hold on, game changer. But they were saying, I was thinking, like, obviously double wrist on one wrist, like quattro. Like, what is 2 gyro tourbillons on either side? Like,
Your
does
hand
that
would go
just, or
off
like,
this.
if you put 2 Hybris Machina JLCs, does that just undo the space time continuum? But he said that when they debuted this at a tech show, the
Mhm.
tech guys were interested in putting 2 smartwatches together to
Mhm.
perfectly like mirror data to compare them, which is
Yeah.
like I will sometimes run in 2 smartwatches, but to run with
You're an
potentially
animal.
4, whoa. Like,
Force
So-
multiplier,
Imagine
man.
charging all
So-
4 of them at night. It's
if
funny
they
because
all
what
go
I
off
have-
with a notification.
Let's do some horological nerdery. I have these 2 watches here, and they're from Loco and Circuland. It's basically a collaboration between these 2 time-based watch brands,
Uh-huh.
and they apparently have the same movement. SW200-1, and I asked whether they both have been adjusted because apparently, Circula does that, to -5 + 7, so near cost chronometer certification, whatever. And these come in the same box, the same movement, same everything, 3 hands, no date. And I'm checking, I've synchronized them, and they are always in the same position, and they are always fully wound whenever, I go around and wind them. And they are already 7 seconds apart in a day. So I think, of course, that's within the -5 + 7, that's 12 seconds. So that's entirely possible, but it's just fun to have some sort of a benchmark, or as you say, to test these things. So I totally would do that, to wear 2 watches on the same wrist and just see, how they, what sort of performance they deliver. That's a lot of fun.
There you go. So I think you need to send us all examples of this dear Smartlet, and we'll put the two most ridiculous watches we can think of on either
Rick,
side
just
of the
for
bracelet.
you, they make 24mm lug adapters. It goes all the way up. So
there you go.
Panerai
2
compatible.
Panerais. I can have my equation of time on one wrist, the 10-day power reserve on the other, and be enjoying the experience all along. Right. Well, let's discuss
what I would
whether
do is wear a Journe Resonance and
2 of them.
Seiko SKX with -20 + 40 factory accuracy rating per day.
But no, what I want to do, what you want to do is you want to wear 4 resonance watches.
Yeah.
2 in each wrist. Set them at slightly different times, and then slowly bring your hands together and see if they all. How long would you need to pray for with your hands clasped until all 4 watches ran at the same time?
The resonance effect can take like hours and hours to happen, just so you know. It's not
think of how much prayer.
So only for the very devout religious
Very
among
devout.
us, we're going to be
Very devout.
Well, what if you put one of those time hunter pieces?
Spending so much
so it's
more
got like
time
the
on this
built-in
than we
time
should.
grapher on the resonance. Then you could compare the 2 independent balances linked via resonance against the time hunter on the bottom side, and with its time grapher against that.
Could you have 4 watches on each wrist, or just have no bracelet? So a little connector between them.
You just join them. Oh, can you join
single link?
There's a question.
Or
Well,
like
if
an
you
extremely
took out-
short strap, when it's
This
just
is-
like this long.
Yeah.
We'll start measuring people's wrists and how many Panerais you can fit around it.
The Panerai measure.
Maybe
It's
a
like
4 or 5, maybe
yeah, it's
6
like
Panerai
yeah, it's
wrists?
like the way Patek measured water resistance. It's a kind of similar thing.
I think Smartlet's onto something. They don't know
I
how
think
big
they
this
might
could
be.
be.
They don't realize it until
We
we
need to
told
like
them.
daisy chain these watches together.
How many? What is the world record for the number of watches on a single strap? Let's
It's like the
contact Guinness Book of
Infinity
Records.
Gauntlet. Like, I've got the Holy Trinity all on one wrist. I've got Patek, Vacheron, and AP.
Yeah.
And then
yes,
if I
thought.
snap my fingers, half of the micro brands disappear. It's like that.
Oh well, we'll get onto the
I-
picker wheel of death shortly.
Actually, wouldn't that be a cool magic trick where a magician like does an illusion and is just all of a sudden wearing a different watch? That would be hard to do.
Well, there we go. There's a challenge.
Especially if
Who
it gets
cares? All
bigger
right.
in size.
Okay.
Storm over.
that closed the conversation. Conversation on right.
Topic
let's-
never coming back up again.
All Ariel wanted to do as a child was be a magician.
No, I love staring at them and watching them. That's all.
Okay. Right, let's stare at these 2 things and watch these 2. So very quickly, because we have so much more to do in this show, we've spent so much time talking about a multi-brand, a multi-watch strap. So the Louis Vuitton Escalade Minute Repeater Jumping Hour and the Meister Singer Jumping Hour, without necessarily looking terribly close at actually the watches, what is it with jumping hours in the last 2 years?
You know how
Bremen,
trends work. Never
Maine.
ask why.
Uh-huh.
Ride the wave as long as until it breaks, and then
Okay.
recognize that it'll be something else next year. But there's always a trend. It never follows any rationale other than we need to have a lot of these on the market at the same time. That's
Yeah. Is it I mean, I
And
like it as
I
a
will say
trend.
this about Meister Singer. Well, for Meister Singer, they're like the whole concept of this brand is like we make watches with one hand. Okay, cool. How do you deviate from that? Well, what if it was something not a hand that gave you an indication? Insert the jumping hour. So this is a different execution of a one-handed watch. It's very different than most of the other stuff in their catalog, but for
It is
them,
nice.
that's why I wanted to write this one up. This is a natural way to do a jumping hour for the
Mhm,
one-handed brand. As to why the other brands have jumped on the bandwagon, I don't know, but for this brand, it makes perfect sense. Rather than having one hand that's the hour hand, you've got one hand that's the minute hand, and then you get a jumping
I
hour.
just kind of imagine them sitting in the workshop going, what are we going to do next? What are we going to do next? We've just realised what's been wrong with our watches all this time. They've only got one hand. No, nobody can actually tell the time accurately. This is a problem. Let's sort it.
I
And
have
decide.
a review of a jumping hour Meistersinger dive watch on the website.
Mm.
It's
Oh no,
not
they're
Lupo.
cool. They are cool. I just, I like Meistersinger.
Look,
I have to say.
The Louis
Yes,
Vuitton
this
is
is nice.
doing it for a completely different reason. They're not trying to be Meistersinger.
No, it would be suggested that the jumping hour. Okay, what's the price of this before I scroll down?
I
Have a guess.
forget.
You've-
6 figure
A
or
lot.
5.
It's a lot.
It's
It's like 600,000 or something.
No, 350,000. Therefore, you could
Oh,
have
what
got
a
two.
What a
bargain.
discount.
What a discount. There we
Cheap
go.
watch.
But that's jumping hours for
Cheap
you.
watch.
I
Right.
don't care about it anymore.
Guesses as to how many brands, what percentage of brands at Watches and Wonders are going to have jumping hours on their stands?
7.
7%.
I would
7
say
brands.
15.
7 brands at least.
Seven brands.
Yes.
So we'll check that and come back to that in a few weeks' time. Right.
Panerai will not be one of them.
Wonk wonk.
Or Tag
And you
Heuer.
know what? Maybe
Yeah.
they will be. I mean, at this point, no one knows what to expect from Panerai.
No,
one
we do,
knows,
actually.
one knows.
Oh, we do? Okay.
Yeah, exactly the same thing. Right, let's do our favorite death show,
sorry.
the brand Wheel of Death.
Oh no,
Uh,
not this again.
Yes, this again. So it's Keep.
It's like
kill.
a slow movement of the Hypnotoad's eye.
So let's explain. So for Ariel, the rules this week are Keep.
There's
kill,
different
and-
rules.
Yeah, because
it's a moving target. Yeah,
it's a moving target.
we
We're
haven't
developing-
kept the same ones for 2 weeks consecutively.
Okay.
It's always new
and
rules.
neuralize. So a neuralize, whereby like in Men in Black, how they squish you and you forget like as if the brand never existed. So it's Keep, Kill, and then Resurrect 50 years later, or neuralize. So let's spin the wheel. Let's see who we get this week. We are getting we need music. Although we are getting IWC, maybe HYT, Ike Pods.
Why are we
Okay.
picking on Icopod?
Well, just because
They're barely
the-
resurrected as it is for the third time.
Well, they'll be
It's funny
easy
because it's a recurring thing on this wheel of whatever that you know, sometimes the brands that show
Oh,
up, they have
oh,
just
it's
recently been resurrected anyway.
Rado.
Death to Rado.
Death to Rado. And last one, Ike Pod or Rado. Last week we kept
It's like something they were screaming in the
remember who we
streets of
kept last
Iran the
week?
other week.
Jackie Dro Jungens. There we go. Young hands.
So do they
Okay.
all say death too?
Yes, the
No,
death
it's a
to
question.
Yes, that's the question.
an open
I
question.
should put a question mark after that. That's fair. It should be a question mark.
Are you
more
like
dramatic, this-
executioner gambling? Like what's going on?
I can't take this game. It's one of the best games I've ever heard on radio or anywhere. I like this recording.
Hey, that's good. That's good. So, who deserves to just be kept unaffected? Ikepod, Rago, or Jungens? I mean, the honest answer is probably none of them.
Rado, we need
Rado.
their ceramic
need
stuff. They're
ceramics.
bringing something new to the equation.
Yeah, the
well,
squarey
about it.
stuff, the
Without
bracelets.
Rado, we wouldn't have a lot of the ceramic tech. They were early pioneers in it. They do it at a much more affordable price point than like
Mhm.
Hublot. So if you want something, and they've got their own aesthetic identity. I don't want to write them out completely. They're either a keep or a table it for 50 years, but I don't think we can just write them out and Thanos them, or sorry, neuralize them, whatever
Neuralize
we're
them.
calling it.
Yeah. Neuralize. Thanos doesn't work technically. You know, in the blog to watch lore, Thanos saying a watch doesn't really do what we need it to do, unfortunately. But there we go. So, any deviation from keeping Rado, David, Ariel? Rado deserves to live the most.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. I think so. I
Oh
think
my gosh.
Ariel's been given a choice, and we
Yeah,
always
He cannot make a choice. It has to be a
And look,
fluid
apparently Swatch Corp
opinion thing.
needs those sales right now.
I just
allegedly,
imagine people
according to
from any of
brands.
those brands calling me being like, Aria, really? Really?
Imagine the
Yeah.
open letter, Ariel.
Yes, to my company. Why?
And
Why,
the investor
please?
space.
Why?
Yeah, Ariel, have you ever written a press release for Omega?
I can.
Okay,
Show me
so,
the data first.
so we keep
We are already
we keep-
considering legal action just for our consideration
Well,
of
no, 'cause
axing Grotto.
we've still got Omega Corner where we need to say something positive about them. So I keep Rado, Jungens, and Ike-Pod. Who do we kill and resurrect in 50 years' time to do it again but better? And who do we neuralize? The world just entirely forgets the
Okay,
ever
Icopod
existed.
does not even have reason to exist if it's around outside the lifespan of Oliver Ike and Mark Newsom. They're
Okay.
alive. It needs to be here. I
Okay.
like Jungens, but the Bauhaus movement will still be important 100 years from now.
Okay, so where the choice is between kill one and neuralize the other, Ariel's chosen to keep one and kill one, I think, is what that was. Ripley, give us a decision. Who we I think I think we neuralize Jungens. I think we forget that Jungens ever existed because
What
as
is
Ariel says,
neuralize?
remember the Men in Black thing whereby they zoos
Right
you
out
with the
of
wee
existence.
flashy thing out of, I don't understand how you don't get this game. Ariel. You forget they ever existed. They didn't exist ever. Just removed from the pantheon of watch brands.
I don't want that. I like
Who-
there being a complex
would
assortment
we-
of characters.
Who would we lose more if they didn't exist? The
think
Icopod
Icopod,
shape
yeah.
or the Max
It's a
Bill,
tough
I
one.
guess.
It's a tough one.
We would gain if one of them didn't exist? What?
Well, like what would in which instance would we lose more? If the Max Bill didn't exist or if the Icopod circle thing
I
didn't exist?
think.
There wouldn't be an Apple Watch without Icopod.
Yeah, I think we need
Okay, well we
to-
can't
but it's
Thanos
already
them
done.
then. Or sorry, neuralize them.
I think
gotta
we
keep them.
neuralize Jungens because Bauhaus exists without it. But we kill and let Icopod come back in 50 years.
Oh, and this
with
could be
something
cool
new.
because Max
Yeah.
Bill would make that watch for like Nomos or someone else.
Yeah, exactly. So sorry, Jungens, you're neuralized. It won't hurt. You'll never remember anything about it. Icopod, you're dead for 50 years.
Do we have
We'll
a
see you-
disclaimer of like
we'll
we
see
mean
you in
no harm to
2080.
Jungens?
Yes, we that no Bauhaus animals were hurt or killed as part of this. Animals were injured.
How
as part of this
reassuring,
game.
Rick.
It's part of this game. So there we go. That's what we. So we need to do the deeds. Need to do the deed. So let's get back to our screen and actually.
Oh, it's not over?
No. We actually need to kill them. We actually need to. Where are they? On
Is
the
there an
screen? So
animation or
we-
something?
No, it's not that good. I wonder if there can be an animation.
Could we do
So
that thing where we like do the fire archery
iPod.
and the boat that kind of like sails off?
We're killing a
Icopod
lot of brands I kind of
and
like. Where are
Jungens.
the junkers on here, Rick? Like I know
What is this game? Like, who created the system?
Well, me.
Rick
but
created
arbitrary.
this
It's
system.
chat
You're
GPT
killing
pretty
things all the
arbitrary.
time.
Yeah,
in
yeah,
the
well,
Wheel of
I mean-
Fortune style.
I mean, Bremen will get to eventually. Beauvais. I mean, they're all on here. I think Ball. There's a few on here. All the brands are here.
You're just
We can
going
add-
through the bees.
Yeah, look, there's lots of them.
Oh my
Philip de
gosh.
Perle.
And
They're not going to
so, wait,
survive
with
if they
all-
get
with
selected.
all of these brands, you're telling us like Tissot has come up like 3 times already just by random selection.
Yeah, Tissot's come up. It's come up twice. Oh, we need to give them a thing because we were.
We need to
keeping
give the
Rado.
audience the ability to react to certain segments, and I want to see how many people are viscerally moved by the
So
the hijinks of let's kill a brand.
Rado gets a tick because it survived one round.
Oh my
Tisso's
gosh.
survived twice. Anyway, there we go. That's our game for this week. Now,
Isn't there a
Uh,
better way of just having watches fight against one another? Like, what's the fantasy sports of watch battles?
You tie them from a string to a shared pole
No,
and
no,
you
no,
let
no,
them go
no.
and they just
no. The fantasy.
no.
We have to have something they're
No.
already doing that we can pretend they're doing for us.
No, the watch strap thing, the SmartLit, you put one on one side of the watch strap. One on the
No,
other
the
side
whole
of
point
the
of
watch
fantasy
strap.
sports is that there are real sports happening, and then you absorb
No,
those
but-
statistics.
No, but then you play sport with it. So one on one side of the watch strap, one on the other side of the watch
I've
strap. and
already
then-
created Ultimate Watch Warriors. I've already engineered it out. They're going to be hurled at one another the correct trajectory via catapult system, a dual catapult system.
Okay, what
it's
about
already
what
been
about, like,
designed.
Ultimate
what if the
Watch
game
Warriors.
is based on releases? You get like 10 points for a totally new watch, minus
fantasy
1 for
watch
a line
brand.
extension.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
that's what we
-2
need.
for
Some silly metric like that.
Well, maybe we could come up with something
Yeah.
for watches and what. Do we want to play fantasy watches and wonders?
Yeah, so we each have like 5
You can-
brands in
you
our
can draw- okay.
roster
that's,
or whatever.
That's next week. So next
You
week.
know, like, oh yeah, Tudor wins. I don't know. Yes, that's what we need
Okay.
to do.
So,
So you need to have
fantasy-
all the Watches and Wonders brands. Get a
okay.
list of them. We need to sort them out between us. Like
Yeah.
what do we do? We pick. We each have a flip a
You-
coin or
no,
whatever.
no. I've got a
players.
bet. I've got a good idea. You love my, and you know how you love my good ideas.
Does
Okay,
someone
you
have to
could-
die or do I have to eat gross food?
You select 5 brands. Okay. Select 5 brands. 4 of them have to be Swiss. Okay. You can then select a 5th brand like Grand Seiko or Bremen or someone else that's going to be Watches and Wonders. 4 of them have to be Swiss, and we use the Lux Consult table. And I'll set up what a maximum budget is, so you can have a budget of like $1 billion, and it's represented in the turnover that's on that. Because we need some metrics for a fantasy football team. You have to base it on price. So I'll come up with something, and we'll use that report to
Oh,
do
that
it.
well, that
to
works
create
because
fancy
Omega's
Watches and
not.
Wonders.
Well, Omega's not
Mhm.
participating at the show, and apparently
Yep.
they're undervalued according to them. So
Mhm.
that outlier is removed from the equation.
Exactly.
So
nobody's choosing
okay.
Omega. And that qualifies
This
as
is
Omega Corner.
making a strange amount of sense for one of our games. I don't know if that's
You already
just
lost.
worrisome.
Oh, well.
I'm
I'm
already
about to,
confused.
I'm about to ruin that because we are going to play we're going to play Hit Miss maybe now. And you know what Hit Miss maybe has always needed?
Watches.
A theme tune. So here we go. This might be quite loud, that's all I'm saying. So get ready, just in case it damages your ears.
Miss! Maybe! If it slaps, it's a hit. If it flops, it's a miss. If we argue for 10 whole minutes, it's a maybe.
No mercy, no bias, just watches. Just watches.
I thought that was quite good.
Is this the opening scene of
Apocalypse Now?
I love bias.
Die Hard 1.5?
Yeah, okay. Let's delve into. We'll see if that theme tune sticks. I like it, but anyway.
It's hilarious.
So Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical. This is the first up. I don't know a great deal about this watch other than it's a Hamilton Khaki Field Mechanical 38. It's a exclusive limit. I don't know if it's limited or just an exclusive edition. But it's a standard Hamilton Khaki. There's not really much else to say. So before we delve into it, let's give it some instant judgment. Is it a hit? Is it a miss? Is it a maybe? 1, 2, 3, go. I think it's a hit, actually. A maybe from Ariel and 3 hits. Ariel, why is it a maybe?
I don't know. Like red bricks could be a lot of things.
I quite like the red, yeah.
It's okay. I'd have to wear it. That's the real maybe.
Hmm.
I don't know if I would like it. That red color is not a color that typically you want to look at on a watch dial. So there's that. When I think about bricks, I don't think of the exact same uniform color. There's obviously a little bit more organic aging and little speckling and little textures and stuff like that. So I want this to go like full fake brick, not, I don't know, half fake brick. It looks, maybe it's not bricks. It's just confusing to me. The Khaki's a great watch. Otherwise it's nice size and stuff like that. I have no idea if the dial's brilliant or it's just dumb.
Ripley, you're a fan of the
I said
Khaki?
it's a hit. Yeah, I'm a fan of the Khaki itself. I like this one because so much of the Khaki line, and I mean, granted, they make a lot of different variations of them: bronze, titanium, white, cream, black, whatever, brown dials. but they're all very much like a military, utilitarian colorway. So it's cool to see them using this very, very popular, versatile blueprint and doing something a bit. I mean, this is bizarre. This is unexpected. This would not have been on my bingo card of thematic Hamilton khaki field watches, but I have to applaud them for doing something different. I agree with Ariel. This doesn't read brick. It's more of like red grid, but just as a watch and separating it from its inspiration, I like that they're doing something a bit more playful, if you will, with the khaki line.
Mm. David?
I freaking love this thing. I think it's just the right mix of recognizable details and creativity. Just I love this thing. If I had to, I always like this watch, but there is always some room for exactly an expression like this. I think it's great.
I'm not normally a fan of the Hamilton khaki. It's obviously it's a bit petite in comparison to what I normally wear, but I really quite like this. So yeah, I think overall this does well as a hit. Do hit us up in the chat as to what you think. Next up is obviously a hit. There's no doubt about it. There's just nowhere else to go other than a hit. Ripley, the Panerai Radomir via. I was going to say that looked like it said Viagogo.
Viaggio?
Viaggio Nel Tempo experience set includes a trip to Italy. I mean, first up, are Panerai just becoming cheapskates? They're like, yeah, this experience is come to where we make the watches. Come to our showroom.
No, you get to, it's not just go through the showroom. You get to go visit the showroom, the historic showroom that celebrates its 100th year anniversary this year. But you also get to retrace the footsteps of the frogmen and do a diving
Sink a submarine.
expedition thing. Yes, you get to ride the bicycle submarine thing. No, you get to retrace important aspects from the brand's history. So you're not just visiting the boutique. That would be night one, where they have the boutique and the exhibition, and then from there it's doing frogman stuff. So you get there's a few different destinations, and then it ends with a yacht cruise along the coast.
A nice yacht cruise. There we go.
And it comes with 2 watches. This is the first time they're making you buy 2 of them on the trip.
And you know what that means. We now know what that means. If you're buying 2 watches, you need a smartlet in your life.
You can rock both of these on a single. That's the thing. You could just show up to your Panerai Experience Viaggio Nel Tempo adventure just with bronze and platinum.
Yeah.
I think a couple of years ago it was funny when we joked about Panerai potentially being challenged by its previously produced watches and how it can dodge not making the same thing again. And since these years have passed, I think they don't even care anymore. I think it can totally happen that they create something, name it differently, but it looks exactly the same as it did like 10 or 12 or 8 years ago, right? Like the one on the left, I'm sure I've seen that watch a gazillion times, and probably the one on the right as well. Maybe the size is different, maybe not. I'm not sure if anyone at Panerai knows. It used to be a huge thing 15 years ago to know, 15 years ago, to know Panerai watches by reference and the little nuances and the sub-seconds and the color of the heads and the sandwich dial and the whatever. People used to care, and nobody cares anymore.
They're just using my picker wheel. They've got a picker wheel for handset, a picker wheel for case size, a picker wheel for is it a California dial or not, and they just spin them and then mold them all together.
I mean,
They
mention
did
the April
spin 'em.
Fool's thing of Panerai AI.
Yeah,
Both
the
of these
Panerai-
are 47 mil. Both of them are time-only watches. But this is kind of interesting. They are kind of playing on different cues from the Radomir's early history. You get the California dials. The other one, it's radially brushed, and they've kind of done a blacked-out engraved logo, kind of what you'd find on the aged old dials. That one, platinum, and you get an open-worked movement. But these watches, like David said, could have existed before and we wouldn't know it. Maybe not in these metals, maybe not with the same size or execution, but this, I like poetry involved as far as kind of telling these two different dial types of the Radimers. But yeah, every time they come out with new watches, I struggle to identify whether or not they're new if it wasn't in a press release calling it a new watch.
Okay, let's judge it then. Are these two watches?
Well, you
a
should go to the
hit?
price. You should go to
Oh,
the price. You
does
have
the
to buy
pri-
them
does the-
together.
Okay.
Yes,
There's
one's
no
platinum,
escape.
one's bronze.
Okay,
So you have to
I'm
buy
right.
them
and
together,
it's
buy
plat-
2 at the same time.
And then you come
Yeah,
away
it's
going
it's,
to
it's
that
part of a set. It's 2 watches in a trip to
165.
Italy. Yeah, $165,000. So you get
Okay.
2 watches in a trip to Italy.
2 watches a trip. to
Yeah,
Italy.
right?
How about I
So,
go to Italy and buy
this
2
is-
watches there?
I'm gonna go buy Italy. Like it's wildly expensive. So I remember the experience edition ones were like 50 grand, and it was like, whoa, that's a pretty expensive submersible. But like I get to go like, hot tub with Mike Horn or whatever. So like that was 50 grand is a lot of money, but it's like 165 is kind of bonkers. Granted, one of them's platinum and all of that, but like,
But why?
yeah,
why
that's a
the-
huge amount of money.
Why do they need to try and sell them together? Like, what is the need?
There was this really old episode on South Park where the families go to Aspen, where it's this timeshare, I think is what it's called. When you when you buy a small portion of like some sort of a vacation or whatever apartment. And I think this is sort of similar. Like they fly you out there, they have you stay there, and they don't let you go until you've bought something. So they get you drunk on the first night. You're in Italy, chugging down amazing Italian wine, and by the next morning you will, sure, I will buy these 2 watches for 160. But just let me go home to my family now.
You wake up with 2 Panerais and a smartlet bracelet.
What's interesting is that both of these are 47 millimeter radio.
Oh,
mirrors.
jinx, really? Wow.
Who buys
Yeah,
this stuff?
these are
There's 30 of them.
big boys. So like this isn't like for everybody. Even if I could and wanted to, I don't
Yeah.
have the wrist to support a 47 millimeter platinum mirror. That is a
I mean,
beast.
Maybe that's the reality of what happened here is they made like 60 of these, and then they checked their database and realized they'd only ever sold 47 mil watches to 17 or 18 people. They thought, you know what, we're going to have to sell these as pairs because we're going to be left with this stock for longer than the IWC perpetual calendars set to run accurately. So we better just lump these in together and sell them with a trip to Italy. That'll make the
I just found the
Panerai.
Panerai I would buy. Because I really want the California dial Panerai.
Okay,
at
send us a
some stage
link.
in my life. And I found it on Chrono 187, and
Okay.
it's $4,400, and it was
Okay.
black PVD, and it's titanium, and it had the hell beaten out of it. It's all scratched up and careworn and all the rest of it. I think that's precisely what a Panerai should look like. This is it. Like
That's a Panerai.
4,400 titanium.
Yeah.
Looks cool.
Probably fake though. No.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Rick, for bursting my bubble.
It's probably not real.
But it comes with papers freshly printed in Guangzhou, so I guess that's fine.
That's cool. That's a cool Panerai. 44 mil is a wearable size as well. Anyway, we haven't actually given it a hit miss. Maybe it's clearly a hit because it's Panerai. That's just the way it works. Anybody else? Hit from Ariel, a miss, and a hit. Ariel,
Or
why is-
mine, or which one? Like the duo, or the one that I
no,
just
the duo. Yours is a hit.
It's 2 thumbs down.
2 thumbs down. Ariel,
For both of them.
why is it a hit?
Well, it's a great conversation. You don't even need to buy this thing. It's just a great conversation to have with your watch buddies. So it's material for just thousands of hours of entertainment. You get to have a joke about your Italian threesome experience with yourself and your 2 Panerais. There's just endless jokes that can be made about this. The watches are objectively very pretty.
They
I
are.
think any of us would wear these things. I totally agree
It's
that
just
things like price and logic, we don't have to talk about any of that. It looks like Panerais made the same watch dozens of times over already.
These are very pretty watches. It's just in this photograph at 47 mil, they're an extremely long way away from the camera to make them look that small.
No, the radium mirror case works to this size. Honestly,
Okay.
the size doesn't
Yeah, it
bother
does.
me. Like it looks cool.
Mhm.
I mean, you can have like the worst vision in the world, and you're solid with these, so that's good.
That's true. It's true. They are going to be illegible. Ripley.
I said it's a hit. You know, we can joke all we want, and like Ariel said, we don't need to think about logic or price. Clearly, Panerai
It's very
isn't
convenient.
thinking about that either, and but just taking these for what they are. If I could, I would. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's go hang out with Panerai for 4 days in Italy, drink a bunch of wine, and rock like double wrist 47 millimeter Radiomers. Why not? You know what I mean? Like, this is, if you're playing in the 47 millimeter platinum Panerai camp, this is
yeah.
fun. This is audacious. This is ridiculous. You know, I have to applaud it for that. So while this isn't where I'm putting 165,000 of my own dollars, not that I have them, you kind of have to look at this just as a creation, as a theme, as an activation, and get the amusement out of it, and just say, well, lucky off to those 50 guys or whoever go, 30 people or whoever go on this trip.
I've found a problem, and the problem is in this photo. Other than David typing, David, stop typing. I've found a problem. This particular picture, it's got experience on the back of the case, and it's spelled with an X.
How techy is that? Oh
it
my
looks,
god!
It looks like something from what's that? From Fast and the Furious.
Why are there
Is it
two
from-
X's though? Why did they have to have
I
an
was
extra
gonna say,
one?
why are the 2 X's?
Experxians.
Is the screw supposed to be the E? Did I think that's cool looking?
So
Like some
I'm
weird, like
Panerai
abstract E
seem-
shape.
Panerai seem
What a
to,
bowl of spaghetti that movement is anyway. It's-
but yeah. So Panerai, by doing one novel thing on the back of the case, appear to have
At least they didn't say
completely ruined it.
experience tech.
Yeah, experience tech. So Panerai, please just don't change anything. Just don't innovate. Just keep doing exactly the same thing, because then we know exactly what we're getting. So yeah, they've
And I'm
ruined
still
that.
going to remind everyone it was my idea, the experience thing from Panerai. Yes, it was. Moving on.
All right, okay.
Was
Well,
it
that's
your
good.
idea to spell it
really
with
was.
2
I kinda
X's
thought-
as
Yeah,
well,
did-
or is that a...
No, that's the
That's
mutated
them.
part of it.
That was
That's
them.
the,
that
how
was
do
all
we make
them.
it less REM? Oh, I know what he would never do.
Good. David, final thoughts before we move on to our final watch?
I would pay 165K for this if it had just one more line of text on the case back. It was so close to success, but just to miss out
Just
on
let
one
yourself
single
down.
line of text, it's such a shame, really.
Panerai, you've let
they
yourself
have these
down.
cool experiences with the Navy Seals and stuff or whatever. That was cool. To go to Italy and get drunk, no.
Okay, we can do that anytime. Right. Finally, Peacock Divine Craft watch review, a thin tourbillon movement and a handmade dial. Ariel, tell us a little bit about this watch quickly.
Well, yeah, quickly. So this is the latest in-house made tourbillon movement from Chinese Peacock. You do get to say cool things like, would you like to check out my Peacock? This movement is more advanced than before. It's 4 hertz operational frequency, which is actually pretty uncommon in tourbillons, even the fancy ones. It's a lot thinner than the bulkier, sort of like older style Chinese tourbillons many people think of. And it looks a lot better. It's better finished and things like that. So I think this case is 39 millimeters. It's relatively thin. There's issues with it. I don't know that that's the best use of, hand skeletonization. I don't know that was necessary. The dial is sort of hand scratched. It comes in a few different colors. I think the bottom line is that, the tourbillon is a fun complication which no longer has to be high in price. There are very nice tourbillons, and I guess the luxury tourbillon makers are going to be able to assert things like multiple axes or combining them with other complications, calendars, chronographs, things like that. We haven't seen that type of stuff really from the Chinese. But when it comes to just time only watches, tourbillons, they've made it very clear that the Swiss have to up their game. It's an attractive product. It works well. And there's, I think, a tiny diamond kind of longue style at the tip of the seconds part of the tourbillon there. So that's, and it's called the Divine Craft. Make of that what you will.
Okay, is it a hit? Is it a miss? Or is it maybe 1, 2, 3, go? Miss, hit. So 3 hits and a miss for me. It's a miss for me because even at 4,000, I'm just like, tourbillons, not interested anymore. Really just not interested.
You don't want any tourbillon unless it's a Panerai.
it could be $1,000, and I'm like, really don't care. So it's a very nicely executed by Peacock.
I mean, they do have $1,000
but-
tourbillons.
Yeah, probably. But even at that, I'm just not tourbillon, not interested.
We got
just-
another tourbillon coming in soon.
Uh-huh.
That I'm excited to see it, but I don't know how they did this, but they made a tourbillon, which is apparently a 4 hertz tourbillon,
Mhm.
based upon a Seiko NH35 movement base,
Yay! You see that I might be interested.
That's
in.
and the
That's
watch
a
is about $1,000, or just under.
engineering challenge. Okay, David hit because
Because of Peacock and the cheap tourbillon. Cheap.
okay. No reason why not. While Ripley and Ari are giving their judgment, let's do what we love the most about Peacock, which is a quick visit to their own website where the stars are really found. So there you go. There's some website. So Ripley, what did you think of the Peacock tourbillon?
Obviously, like the name, you get a hand scratch dial and a pretty good looking one at that. I like what they're doing with the movement. If
Mhm.
you wanted to play in this world but didn't want to play with tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars, this seems like a very viable way of scratching that itch, and you get to ask people to check out
Whoa.
your Peacock. So
Yeah,
what is happening with
is that
this
a
one?
Peacock
Wow.
tail?
I do not know. So
Oh my
let's just
God.
get
Why
completely.
is it $1,800? This watch we're looking at.
Yeah, so we're on the Peacock website, so forget about the Peacock Turban. We're not interested in that anymore. This is the Peacock Perfection.
Oh, look at their
Classic.
Alpine Eagle.
Yeah, I was going to say 1953 aircraft
Wearing a
hand.
thong.
Why is that
Alpine
an
Peacock.
Why is that an aircraft hand? It's
Is that an aircraft hand?
But that,
That's
I
a big
mean,
problem
God.
if your aircraft looks like
Is
that.
Yeah.
a boomerang an aircraft?
So there's
It
no
makes a
other way of doing
180
this.
degree turn.
Yeah,
It's
so
like it's like
let's.
a travel.
All I
path
can
that's
say
just
to
like
everybody
that.
listening is go check out the YouTube channel for the Peacock watch. Yeah, that's odd.
Such fun.
It makes you wonder what
it's
happened in
quite cool.
1953.
It's quite cool. The Alpine
What is the
Eagles
Chinese
were then-
translation of airplane hand? Is that it could be
Yeah,
a lot of different things.
It does feel.
Dramatic events.
Yeah, that's what it
Oh,
feels
Yeah,
they
but
have
his
a robot
airplane
turd
had-
version as well.
We've got the Roger Dubuis Peacock. We've got the what does that remind me of? Not Faber.
That looks like a Jean Richard.
Yeah, Jean
Ooh.
Richard Peacock. We've
I
got
didn't
the
see all these things. Oh, there's a
Moser.
nice diver tourbillon for you.
Yeah, there we go. There's the Blancpain Peacock. And see what else we've got
Peacock
here.
Or
Oh, there's
P-Pain
the
for short.
Hublot Peacock, the Louis Erard.
But they don't
I
want you to
see
see
what
these.
you're
Some of these are older designs. It's the
Mm.
newer ones. Like you're going back in time here. You could
Yeah,
totally
double
tell that the
peacock.
newer ones are like
Okay.
way better.
Yeah, no, it's
Way
it's
more
a, it's a
Alpine
fun, it's a fun,
Peacock.
yeah, more Alpine Eagles, please. That's what we need. So the year,
$3,100. That's a lot.
yeah, that's a bit of a
Handmade
challenging.
Guilloche watch.
That's a bit of a
Hmm.
challenging price. Anyway, there we go. Right, that's our show basically. Yeah, nothing much more to say than that.
Complicatedly.
Basically, complicatedly, that is us done. Thank you all very much for listening, and we will see you all again in a week or so's time. Cheerio! Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
What do you mean a week or so's time?
Okay, a week's time. See ya. Bye.
In 167 hours.
Okay.
What are we like
that's-
the least accurate watch ever?
least accurate watch show ever.
I'll
That
see you
is
like
what we're-
6 p.m. give or take a day or two.
Yeah, okay. Cheerio now. Ta-ta for now.
6 p.m.
Bye.